1956 was a wild year for R&B, not the hits everyone remembers, but the records that slipped through the cracks. Songs made by real teenagers, garage groups, church kids, street corner harmonizers, people who had one perfect moment on tape before the world moved on. Some of these tracks were funny, some were fragile, some were flat-out chaotic, but every single one hits harder than you'd expect from a one-hit wonder. And by the time we reach number one, you're gonna wonder how a song that honest, that emotional, didn't turn its singers into legends. Let's rewind to the year R&B stopped asking permission and started leaving fingerprints. Number 12, Shirley, The Schoolboys, 1956. Real teenagers from Washington, D.C. walked into a studio in 1956 and put down exactly who they were. No polish, no image, just pure, nervous, hungry energy. On OK Records, they weren't trying to be stars yet. They were just kids stepping off the street corner and into a room with a microphone. You can hear it in the simple hand claps, in the way the harmonies lean more on feeling than technique, in that bright, unfiltered joy that you only get before the industry starts giving notes. It feels like summer vacation turned into sound, carefree, warm, and gone too fast. Shirley became a regional favorite across the Mid-Atlantic, the kind of record local DJs could spin all afternoon, but it never cracked the national charts. Youth held them back. They couldn't tour hard, couldn't promote like older acts, and the label quickly turned its attention to bigger names with deeper pockets. Within a year, most of the group had gone back to school or slipped into other groups, leaving behind one perfect snapshot of the moment when R&B still belonged to kids making music for fun, not fame. From that kind of innocent energy, the story shifts to New York, where harmony got more polished, but never lost its heart. Number 11, The Angel Sang, The Solitaires, 1956. The Angel Sang feels like a hymn that snuck out of church and fell in love on a New York corner. Released on Old Town Records in 1956, it sits right in the middle of the city's golden harmony era, when every block seemed to have a group singing under a streetlight. The Solitaires took that church influence and slipped it into a love song so smoothly, most listeners never even noticed the switch. Milton Love's soaring tenor doesn't just lead. It floats above the group like a choir section all by itself, while the other voices form a soft, steady cushion underneath. It reached the R&B Top 20 and earned loyal fans across Harlem and beyond, but a national breakthrough never came. Flashier groups like the Drifters and the Cadillacs grabbed the spotlight, and Old Town didn't have the budget to push the Solitaires past city limits. Their quiet sophistication slipped out of fashion as rock and roll's volume took over. Today, The Angel Sang mostly survives on collector compilations. A forgotten gem from a group that helped define New York's golden harmony, sound voices ringing like chapel bells echoing off Harlem rooftops. Number 10, The Way You Look Tonight, The Jaguars, 1956. Don't you go away. The Way You Look Tonight is what happens when a Hollywood standard wanders into a Los Angeles garage and comes out wearing doo-wop. In 1956, the Jaguars took Fred Astaire's classic and reimagined it for Flash Records as a tender R&B ballad built on shimmering harmonies and Herman Sonny Chaney's dreamy falsetto. You can almost feel the Pacific air in that lead, soft, light, and just a little distant gliding over background voices that move like a slow wave behind him. The record doesn't try to show off. It leans into warmth instead, turning a polished songbook tune into something that feels like two people walking home together at dusk. It became a West Coast favorite and even grazed the national R&B charts. Proof that romance and rhythm could be born from a garage just as easily as from a big studio. But Flash was tiny, and poor distribution stopped the spread. Without a strong push or big tours to support it, the Jaguars couldn't maintain momentum and faded after a few follow-ups, leaving this one song as their clearest statement. We've lingered in elegance long enough. Next, 1956 R&B proves it doesn't always have to be pretty. Sometimes it leans straight into pure, joyful chaos. Number 9. Rubber Biscuit, The Chips, 1956. Rubber Biscuit is what happens when a joke grows a backbone and decides to be a classic. In 1956, Brooklyn group The Chips walked into Josie Records and cut a track that made almost no sense on paper nonsense syllables. Wild rhythm breaks, and a vocal performance that sounds like a dare. With just a tambourine, a bass, and fearless voices, they built something that felt like organized insanity, all sharp corners and sudden stops. It wasn't a love song, it was a food fight set to rhythm, a reminder that R&B could be flat-out funny without losing its pulse. DJs didn't quite know what to do with it. Rubber Biscuit only peaked low on the R&B charts, and radio mostly scratched its head and moved on. But the playful tone and absurd humor made it unforgettable. Years later, when the Blues Brothers covered it in 1978, the record gained cult status and dragged the Chips' legacy back into the light. Even so, the original still hits hardest. Raw, strange, and charming, it proves R&B didn't need polish or even logic, just attitude and the courage to be different. From that burst of chaos and laughter, the story snaps back into focus with one of 1956's most fragile teenage anthems. Number 8. A Casual Look, The 16s, 1956. A casual look sounds like the first slow dance you ever had, caught on a single piece of tape. In 1956, the 16s recorded it for Flip Records in Los Angeles, and everything about the track feels young in the best way. No big belts, no heavy drama, just the kind of soft sweetness that hits hardest when you're still figuring out what love even is. At the center is 12-year-old Trudy Williams, her delicate voice threading through the melody with a kind of fragile certainty that adults can't really imitate. You can hear the innocence and the weight of the words fighting for space in every line. The record landed with listeners who were right there themselves. It climbed to number 7 on the R&B chart and number 25 on the pop chart. a huge achievement for a tiny indie label trying to compete with major distribution. But for kids still figuring out their own lives, fame came too fast. Touring was hard, management issues slowed everything down, and by 1958, the group had faded from the charts. What remained was this one perfect time capsule, a slow dance classic that proves teenage emotion can be just as powerful as any polished soul hit. From Tender Letters and First Love, we move to a song that feels like a street corner promise, whispered straight into your ear. Number 7, The Closer You Are, The Channels, 1956. The Closer You Are sounds like a love note someone folded, tucked into a jacket pocket, and then decided to sing instead of read. Released on Gone Records in 1956, it became the Channel's calling card and one of the East Coast's most beloved street corner harmonies. Sweet falsettos float over a gentle bass, and the lyrics feel handwritten, personal, unshowy, like something you'd only say when nobody else was listening.
But then you went away.
The arrangement leaves just enough space between the voices for the feeling to breathe.
But now you're back to stay.
It became a regional sensation, spinning on radio from Boston to Baltimore, the kind of record you'd hear on late-night shows and local dedications. But limited national reach and competing labels with bigger budgets kept the Channels from breaking the way they deserved.
And what?
They kept recording and performing, but nothing quite matched the emotional honesty of this early hit. The Closer You Are turned into a doo-wop essential instead, covered, collected, and cherished for decades.
Sounds so good. This is dedicated to everybody in the house.
It never topped big charts, but it never really died, either. Proof that sincerity can outlast promotion.
Listen!
From those soft harmonies and whispered promises, we slide into a different kind of quiet. Midnight secrets wrapped in velvet strings. Number 6, Confidential, Sunny Night, 1956.
Be mean and don't be bad.
Confidential is pure mood, a late-night secret told in a voice that never rises above a calm confession.
Loving you is all I crave.
Released on Aladdin Records in 1956, it stood out immediately from the louder R&B hits of the year.
Even if you let me, pretty baby, I'll be your...
While everyone else was chasing volume and edge, Sunny Night came in soft, smooth, and slightly mysterious.
Just let me know that you're really mine, because...
His restrained delivery sits right on top of a velvety string arrangement, the kind built for dim rooms and low lamps.
Do anything just for you.
The song feels like it's happening just after midnight, when the party is over and only the truth is left.
Just let me know.
Nothing in the track rushes. The tempo is measured, the dynamics controlled, and that's exactly why it lands. You're pulled closer instead of pushed back.
I just wanna make love to you, baby.
Confidential climbed to number 8 on the R&B chart and number 7 on the pop chart, a rare crossover at a time when racial barriers still ruled radio. Number 5, K Ding Dong, The G-Clefs, 1956.
When everything was kind of good.
K Ding Dong is what happiness sounded like in 1956.
When everything was...
5 brothers from Roxbury, Massachusetts, calling themselves the G-Clefs, walked into Pilgrim Records and cut a side that fused tight harmonies with bouncy humor and youthful charm.
More dance. And that's all you did.
The song doesn't worry about being serious. It bounces on nonsense syllables and playful vocal flips that ride over a light, upbeat rhythm. Every ka-ding-dong lands like a grin you can't quite wipe off.
The moon glows.
It feels like kids joking around on a stoop who suddenly realize they've stumbled onto a hook that won't leave. The track reached number 24 on the pop chart, making it one of the few doo-wop records from New England to gain national traction in an era dominated by New York and Los Angeles. Then, the floor dropped. Pilgrim folded soon after the single peaked, and without a label or a promotion machine behind them, the G-Clefs faded from the spotlight before they could build on that success. But Ka-Ding-Dong refused to disappear. It lived on through jukebox reissues and soundtrack placements, always ready to turn up wherever someone needed a quick shot of joy. Number 4, 1,000 Miles Away, The Heartbeats, 1956. 1,000 Miles Away turns distance into devotion, one pleading line at a time.
And feel free to sing along.
James Shepard originally wrote it as a letter to his long-distance girlfriend, but when the Heartbeats recorded it for Hull Records in 1956, it became one of R&B's most enduring love songs. Delicate harmonies wrap around Shepard's lead, which carries the kind of ache that doesn't need big runs or showy moments to hurt. The performance is simple and honest yearning, uncertain and endlessly replayable, like a memory you keep revisiting even when you know it won't change. The single climbed to number 5 on the R&B chart and number 52 on the pop chart, a rare crossover for an indie act without major backing. The group never repeated that level of success. Though Shepard later found modest fame with Shep and the Limelights, the song outlived it all. 1,000 Miles Away recharted years later, found its way into films, and settled into slow dance playlists for decades. It's the sound of longing pressed into wax distance, turned into something you can hold in your hands. Number 3, Stranded in the Jungle, The Cadets, 1956.
Know that the wreckage on my plane had been picked up and spotted.
Stranded in the Jungle is R&B tearing up its own rulebook. In 1956, the Cadets took the Jayhawks original and turned it into a high-energy performance that sounded like radio drama crashing into early rock and roll. The track is loud, theatrical, and proudly bizarre, full of jungle sound effects, screams, and comic dialogue that plays like a mini-movie unfolding over a beat. You're not just listening, you're dropped into the scene.
The boys in the jungle had me on the run when some
Will Dub Jones delivers immortal spoken lines.
baby, baby, let me romance.
Great googly moogly, let me out of here, with a mix of panic and humor that sticks in your head long after the record stops.
In the States,
Released on Modern Records, it soared to number 3 on the R&B chart and number 15 on the pop chart, proving that audiences were more than ready for something bold, funny, and rule-breaking. But novelty can be a trap.
meanwhile, back in the jungle,
Every follow-up felt too normal to compete with this level of craziness, too tame to catch lightning twice, and by 1957, the Cadets had splintered.
in the ocean and started to swim, for my chance of survival was
What they left behind was one unforgettable explosion of humor and chaos that bridged R&B and early rock theatrics.
But my soul was gone, and here's what I said.
From jungle madness and comic mayhem, we step into one of the sweetest, most romantic sounds of the year, the chime of wedding bells on wax.
You should have understood.
Number 2, Church Bells May Ring, The Willows, 1956.
You should have known, sweet.
Church Bells May Ring is joy pressed straight into vinyl. If any group from 1956 deserved more credit, it's The Willows.
I'll tell you, darling, you're the queen of my...
This was their one major hit. But what a hit, it was a lush, romantic doo-wop anthem, filled with chiming bells, layered harmonies, and the innocence of first love. Everything about the record sounds like celebration. The gentle sway of the rhythm, the hopeful lift of the voices, the way the bells glimmer around the edges of the chorus. It feels like walking out of a ceremony into bright daylight, heart racing and future wide open. Released on Melba Records, it hit number 3 on the R&B chart and climbed into the Pop Top 20, becoming one of the year's biggest crossover successes at a time when most R&B stayed locked on separate charts. But management problems and competing cover versions by bigger white groups drowned out their momentum before they could build on that success.
I'll give you anything that I own.
The Willows kept recording, but never recaptured the same magic.
Church bells may ring, church bells may...
Still, Church Bells May Ring survived as a timeless echo of the moment doo-wop found perfection. When street corner harmonies met studio polish and created something eternal.
Oh, yeah.
And everything we've heard so far leads to one last record. Two sisters who captured teenage heartbreak better than anyone else that year. Number 1, Eddie My Love, The Teen Queens, 1956. Dance playlists long after charts moved on. It's the sound of innocence meeting heartbreak and never letting go teenage emotion captured on vinyl in its purest form, and the perfect peak for a countdown of one-hit wonders that deserved so much more.